Well, what is the crack? Welcome to this season 4 of the Bad Movie Buff podcast. For anyone that's still listening to this, not only thank you very much, but fair play to you, because I edit these and I hate the sound of my own. Everyone hates the sound of their own voice, but fair fox anyway. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, we've made it this far, season 4, episode 1. This week I'm joined by a bass player called Stephen McGrath. Stephen, for anyone that goes to the Blues Festival every year in the Point, you'll recognise him as the bassist of Crow Black Chicken. I have followed him on Instagram for years, and he had his own podcast called Basscraft, which he had like a different bass player on every week for months. And he also posts like a lot of movie stuff and a lot of video game stuff as well. So I knew we'd get on the best. So I asked him to stop off in Uri on his way down to the Blues, and he was happy to do so. Fair fucks to Stephen. He jumped out of his car after a 4-hour journey, and I threw a microphone in his face, and we had the absolute best of crack. And not only that, but he also gave me a lift down to the Point to drink at the Blues after, and I got to see Crow Black Chicken that night live, and they're class as always. So it wouldn't be the podcast with there's a lad walking past the Megadeth t-shirt. Nice. It wouldn't be the podcast if I didn't fuck something up. And here, this one actually wasn't my fault, right? And it's not a big one either. When I was recording the video for this, my phone was like, do you want to update your software? And it stopped the recording. So for the last 10 minutes or so, it's going to be audio only. Still uploading to the usual. I don't need to explain this because you're obviously listening to this on one of the usual channels. But yeah, Stephen jumped on to talk about Terminator 2, and we dived into it. It was great crack as always. So enjoy. Cheers. Right, so that should be us. Yeah, welcome to Newry. Steve McGrath, how's things?
Good, man. Feeling good now. I had a nice long drive up, but I'm feeling fairly fresh.
Was it 4 hours, did you say?
I think it was 5 in the end.
That's good going, like.
Yeah, I was running around like a lunatic trying to get everything ready because we're up here for the weekend playing. But yeah, it's good. It's good to be up here. I've done a lot of research on Terminator films. I probably forget it all now.
Here. Sure, I write everything down here because for some reason, as soon as these microphones turn on, every name, every place just leaves my head. Like, so I just have to have it written down. It's a wee safety blanket, like, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. So, so Stephen, you're up playing the Blues in the Bay Festival in the Point this weekend with Crow Black Chicken.
Yeah, we're in the Lock and Key, which is now called something else.
Oh, the Posh Pig.
Posh Pig, great name. Yeah, we've been playing it about 15 years now. So
mad.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the kids up here kind of grew up watching us, and when I came up here first, I would have been in my 20s, and they would have been not drinking age or just about drinking age. Like, so we've kind of grown up together, and it's fun meeting them every year and. The same old guy. Now I'm not the same person I was back. I don't go on to session after gigs anymore.
No,
you know how it goes.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm 33. Like, so I think literally the Blues for a lot of people around here was like I'm out underage drinking for the first time. Like,
yeah, that was it.
No, the police have other things to do. Like, you know. So but I was saying to you before we started recording, I specifically remember it must have been the first year you played about 15 years ago. You were the talk of the town, and everyone was like, you have to go see Crow Black Chicken. Like. And the first time I seen you, it's not even there anymore, the Balmoral. Do you remember the Balmoral?
Oh, yeah, that was a great spot. And we used to love playing in Foresters. That was a brilliant spot as well. Yeah,
it's actually all done up now.
Oh, really? Because we were told it was finished. It wasn't opening up again. It's back, is it?
Yeah, it's back. It was there at the Blues last year. Now, the last time I was there, so I'm not 100%, but they'd revamped the front bar. So it's actually really nice, really modern. They put like a wee pool room downstairs. And I remember going to the toilet, and the back of it seemed to still be like a building site. This time last year. So I don't know if they're still doing anything, because there was mainly their function room that they got all the bands playing in. So I don't know whether they're doing any of that, but the front bar is definitely.
I don't know, do I like the sound of that? I like the way it wasn't all done up.
Yeah, I know
like
what you mean.
Like a lounge of a rugby club or something.
Yeah, that's it. Like, that's like where we used to go. Like when I was like 17, 18, we used to go to the INF every week religiously, because they used to run gigs on a Saturday night and a Battle of the Bands gig every Wednesday night. And if you're really nice to the bouncers, they'd let you in. Because like, I'm 33 now and I look 10. Like, you know, when I was 16, I looked like a toddler walking around the place.
I think I was one of those people as well.
Yeah. So no, yeah, but like Blues class every year, like, and like as I said, like yous are always, I think anyway, one of the star performers everyone flocks to see every year, like, you know.
Yeah, we're more rock, I think, than a lot of the bands, so people like that. And then most of the bands wouldn't be playing their own music, so
yeah,
we probably wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea, but we're enough of people's cup of tea that's different.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a sweatbox tonight.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, you know what it is? The Posh Peg, obviously you haven't been in, so it's changed name, but it's also got done up. So it's like a completely different bar now. Like it's very modern looking, it's classic, and I think, I was going to say, one of the lads told me they've got like a load of seats outside now, but sure, the rain has come on something serious in the last few hours, so it'll not make a difference.
We used to stay in the, I suppose it'd be the, what would you call it, the wedding suite, or the best suite in the place for a good few years. It's out the front, it's this huge room, and it used to be some crack. It was like Sodom and Gomorrah. We'd be looking out the window after the gig, and it'd just be all the young people going crazy.
Yeah.
I remember one year, some young one, she had her high heels, and she was like flinging them at some other woman, and it was just complete chaos. And you just watched, you were there all night. This is good entertainment. This is better than telly.
I actually know exactly what room you're on about. Like, yeah, there's like a great view. The window's almost open the whole way up, and
You're practically out in the street looking down in the chaos. So that was a highlight, right?
The Blues is class. Like, and I like it as well. Not only obviously the music is first and foremost, but you always see people, like anyone from around here that maybe lives in England or Scotland or anywhere that's relatively abroad within like an hour's flight, will always come back for the Blues. So you always bump into people you haven't seen in years. It's great, like, you know. But we're here to talk about
with Terminator. Let's get on to it.
Yeah, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So quick overview, not that it needs any introduction, but so came out in 1991, directed by James Cameron, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, the T-800, Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, Edward Furlong as John Connor, Robert Patrick as T-1000, and Joe Morton as Miles Dyson. Now there's a lot more people in there, but that's just the kind of the main crowd. So plot wise, like, I suppose there's no real point in going into the plot because everyone knows it, but it's the sequel to the Terminator that came out in 1984, and it's essentially they've sent back another Terminator to kill John Connor as a teenager, and the Resistance has reprogrammed Arnie's character, the original Terminator, sent him back to protect John Connor. So the first thing I kind of want to chat about, so how old did you say you were, sorry?
I'm 39.
39, so yeah, you probably would have been too young to see this in the cinema when it came out then.
No, I would have been too, but I have abiding memories of watching it as a kid and loving it. And I was thinking about something coming up in the car, and this also applies to other R-rated films from back in the day. They used to have toys for kids, like.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so great, like RoboCop. I had a RoboCop toy. That film is unbelievably violent. And when I was only really young, and I had Terminator toys. I read a thing that this had the best toy sales for any R-rated film ever.
No way.
Like, this film is really violent. Why would kids be having toys for it? But no, I didn't. I would have been too young to watch it for a long time, but I was totally aware of it. Yeah, definitely saw it before I was 10. That's for sure. That's
mad that you mentioned that. Me and Aoife were talking about this recently. We recently watched. Well, I've seen it 1,000 times. Don't think Aoife was a big fan, but Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
It hasn't aged very well.
Yeah, definitely not in that regard. But Aoife had it in her head this was like a kids movie.
Okay.
And in the first 10 minutes or so, he's getting sucked off in a doorway. And Aoife was like, what the fuck? And I was like, right enough, there was like a cartoon of this on back in the day.
Yeah, I remember the cartoon. Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, RoboCop had a cartoon as well. That was like what they did. They're like, oh, the kids can't watch the film.
Yeah.
We'll make a cartoon.
Yeah. And there was I remember there was so many tie-ins. There was like a Men in Black cartoon, Ghostbusters cartoon. Do you remember that one?
I do. And was a Jackie Chan cartoon. It was all kinds of random cartoons.
It was a great. The Adventures of Jackie Chan was one of my favorites growing up. I thought it was classic. But so as you said, R-rated with a tie-in. But what I was gonna ask is, I always say, like, one of the greatest shames of like me when I first watched this as maybe like an early teenager, like, that I knew the twist that Arnie was going to be a good guy in it. But apparently when this first came out in the cinema, it was a twist.
Do you think so? Because I bought the Blu-ray and it arrived there last week, and I was watching the trailers, the original trailers, and nearly all the trailers gave away the twist.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I could be wrong then.
So I was thinking, why didn't they do the bait and switch? Like, because it perfectly sets it up. Like, at the start, the T-1000 is more human. He doesn't kill the cop. No, when he punches him in the gut, he probably killed him, but they don't show him killing him.
No.
And then he's way more human, like, and Arnie is acting like a Terminator.
100%.
But most of the trailers totally give it away. Like,
I didn't realize that.
If you watch it back,
I could have sworn I had read somewhere that there was. I had listened to a podcast some stage where someone said when they watch it in the cinema, it was a complete twist to them. Like,
well, if they hadn't seen the trailers, some of the trailers weren't as obvious, but a bunch of them totally gave it away. But maybe they could have been later in the summer, as in like everyone knew about this already. A new trailer, but
right enough, yeah. But like, it's like, well, for example, I'll not actually give the actual spoiler away, but the latest Marvel film, Thunderbolts, it came out and it's got like an asterisk beside the title, and then you're wondering when you go see it, oh, why is there an asterisk? And within the opening weekend, the Monday, they revealed in the marketing what the asterisk was, and that in itself was a massive spoiler for the film.
Okay, I kind of turned off on comic book films in the last year or two. I'm just like,
understandably,
sick of these now. Loved them at the start. But yeah, no, I'd say a lot of people are surprised. Like, and it's hard to talk about Terminator 2 without talking about Terminator 1 because it's a perfect sequel and it perfectly ties into the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the first one's kind of got this slasher movie vibe.
Yeah. And
to think that you'd go down and go and watch it then, and Arnie is the good guy after being killing everyone in the first one and being a complete sociopath.
Yeah. I need to watch the first one again actually, because I have seen it a good few times, but I've seen Terminator 2 like 1,000 times, like no joke. Like, but the last time I watched, and this may be a controversial opinion, the last time I watched the first Terminator, I was like, is this better than the second one? What do you think? I wasn't 100%. I need to watch it again.
It's such a different vibe. It's much slower.
It's like a horror film, the first one.
It's a horror film, yeah, slasher kind of vibe, isn't it? Well, it had a much lower budget, like, so it only was like $6 million to make it, like. Well, I'd say, I suppose the limitations, like, he wanted to do a lot of stuff that's in the second one with the first one, so the limitations just made it more, maybe a different type of movie. You might like it more, like. Yeah,
that's similar enough with, I suppose, with him and Avatar. Like, he waited, with the first Avatar was 2009, and have you seen The Way of Water, the second Avatar?
It's grand, like, isn't it? But
it's
come on, like, I don't want any more Avatar. There's going to be a lot more of them.
I was literally just thinking this, like, I think I actually really enjoyed the first and second one. Like, I just don't think they have this rewatchability that a lot of these really good James Cameron movies have. But at the same time, I'm like, do something else in between, like, because we're sick of those blue bastards. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean? Like, and all that CGI just gets tiring.
Yeah.
And when you watch T2, like, the practical effects are so awesome.
Yeah.
They're timeless.
I was thinking to myself while I was watching last night, so obviously the technology was like such a big deal back in 91 when this first came out, especially for the T1000 and the liquid metal thing. So that was done by Industrial Light and Magic, which is like the special effects crowd that have done like so many of these big famous films. And there was like a bit where Arnie was fighting him. It was in the mental hospital, and just the fight scene was class. It was really well choreographed and all I could think to myself was, if this came out now, it would be just like a big CGI fuckfest, and it would be like just so overdone. Like, it might be slightly cooler in some bits, like, but you barely see Robert Patrick's face or the like actual really good acting he's doing. It's just going to be like a CGI shitfest basically, and that's what I think where a lot of modern films are going wrong, in the sense that like they're more concerned about how cool something looks other than like how actually well it's translated onto the screen.
Exactly. And as well, they lose the kind of craft of the practical effects. Like in T2, in the scene in the mental hospital, there's the guard that gets killed, but he has a twin, like that's his twin, like.
What?
And Linda Hamilton's twin is also in the film.
Yeah, I read that as well.
She's so buff, they have to use her twin for the flashbacks and a few other scenes. And then so they were using twins a lot, actually. This was a thing they were doing back then.
That's mad.
Or do you know it's a deleted scene, do you ever see it, where they're like repairing Arnie, the T800.
I think I might have.
The way they did it was they had like a mannequin and he's on the mirror on the other side, and you think you're looking at a mirror,
it's
it's actually him on the other side. It's not glass, it's him standing in front of the shot with Linda Hamilton fixing him up.
That's cool. So
there's a lot of cool kind of stuff like that, thinking outside the box kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't realize that about the twin, because I do this thing in this podcast, which I kind of always forget to do. It's called the Bad Owl Doing list. But one at the top of that list was that security guard that just gets the finger through the eye. Like,
there's a few bad old doings, like the stepfather with the drinking the carton of milk. That was awesome.
Terrible, like. Andre, he's in Heat as well, actually. The only reason I know that is because the guy I did the Heat episode with pointed me out. He's like, that's the stepfather in Terminator 2. Like,
there's actually a good few kind of actors you would have seen. The stepmother is in Aliens. She's like the Rodriguez or something, that kind of
I see. Aliens is one I've seen, but just the once, and it's been a few years, so I need to jump back into it. But what else she's in that I love, and it's one of my favorite action films. Can you have a guess what else she's in?
No, because she's actually unrecognized in terms because she's got this like mammy look to her. Unlike in Aliens, she's like a marine.
Have you ever seen Lethal Weapon 2?
Yeah.
Do you know the cop that, when all the cops are getting killed off and she's in her back garden in the pool, and when she jumps off the diving board, the bomb goes off, blows her way into the air?
Oh, yeah.
That's her. Like,
nice.
It's one of my favorite movie deaths of all time.
Oh, that's the bad old doing. Is it?
Yeah, that's the bad old doing from Lethal Weapon 2. Like, but obviously her death in this is off screen. Like, but I just love that scene. Like, I think nearly every scene, and which is probably why that makes this film so good, is that nearly every scene you could go, I love that scene.
Yeah, and it's very quotable as well. There's lots of brilliant one-liners in it.
Yeah, go hit me with a few there. Do you know anything off the top of your head?
Oh god, well, I guess obviously Arnie gets to throw in his "I'll be back." A lot of them are kind of throwbacks to the first film. He goes, "Come with me if you want to live." I'm not going to do the Arnie. I said I wouldn't do it. I'm actually an Arnie stan. Like,
yeah.
I've been since I was a kid. I've been obsessed with him. I like bought all these DVDs when I could afford it. And
Class.
I read his biography. It's like 1,000 pages. It's a massive thing.
I didn't even know he had a biography out. Like,
there's a Netflix about it, but it's just his book, but it doesn't have as much info in it.
Okay.
On it. But we won't turn this into an Arnie podcast.
Here we can if you want to, like, because I'm a big Arnie guy as well.
He was really into this film. The quotes, I'll come back on that. I'm sure they'll come around. But it was interesting researching the film and reading his bio. Like, he kind of was the one that pushed this film forward. Like, because James Cameron had like a flop. He did Piranha 2 and then he quit. It was a complete flop. And Arnie loved the script, and he agreed to do this film. And the entire budget was just for Arnie. Apparently, the studio wouldn't do it without Arnie.
Right.
Like. And I think he used some of his own money for some of the scenes in T2. He wanted like a big explosion. So he's like, take $1 million out of my budget and make it happen. Like,
a scene like, so the original budget of the film was 75 million, which nowadays is, in terms of Hollywood films, is chump change. Like, and then apparently the studio were panicking because it was, by the time they were near finished filming, it was went up to 88 million. And they essentially tried to get James Cameron to cut the scene where Arnie walks into the bar at the start. He first appears. And kicks the fuck out of everyone.
There you go. There's a good quote. I want your bike, your motorcycle.
Class, like. Unbelievable. So when one of the studio executives went up to Arnie and asked him to convince Jim Cameron to delete that scene, and Arnie pretty much said no. Like only someone from the studio would say to take that out. That shows you how much you don't care, essentially. Which brings me back actually to the bad old doing list, because the first one in the entire film is your boy that gets fucked on top of the cooker.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. And the bit, and again, so you can't talk about film without all the practical effects. Like that bit where he puts a cigar out on Arnie's chest. That's so cool. Like,
unreal.
That would totally be CGI now. Just CGI, but
100%.
It just looked deadly. Yeah, when he gets turned up on the cooker.
Yeah,
he gets a bad.
He's like panicking. He's just like, that's so bad.
And
but
the
it's so
extras
good.
are brilliant in it as well. The barman comes out, son, I can't let you take his bike. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. And then he takes the sunglasses off your man. But that's what's so good about this film is every scene, I think, you can go, oh, that's a great bit. And I found that, like, so I don't know whether I said this on or off mic earlier, but me and Aoife rewatched this last night. I fell asleep about an hour and 10 into it. But it was only when I checked the runtime, I was like, this movie's definitely not 2.5 hours long, that I realised we were watching the extended version.
No, yeah, it's a tight film. It's like 2 hours or something, isn't it?
2:10 originally, and then the one we watched last night was 2:35. When I say watch, I fell asleep halfway through, but the bit that kind of made us click was after T-1000 kills his foster parents, John Connor's foster parents, there's a scene where he walks into John Connor's bedroom and starts hoking about. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I saw it when I watched the deleted scenes, and they were saying they got rid of it because it was like making the audience out to be too dumb, like that they had to figure out, he can do this. They said, people will figure out that he's smart.
So anyone that hasn't seen it, essentially him just going through the room, but he's just rubbing the wall. It's so strange, actually. He's just going and rubbing the walls and checking behind all the posters, and then eventually he finds a hole in the wall, which is like a tin box full of letters from Sarah Connor to John Connor, and that's when essentially the T-1000 figures out where she is, which mental hospital she's in. But that was the only one really there that we got to before I fell asleep, so I don't know where the other half an hour was coming from.
Watch the film for the podcast. You fell asleep.
I fell asleep. But this is one of those ones that I can say even if I didn't watch it last night, I wouldn't have had to, because I've seen it so many times. Newry Cinema was showing it a few months ago. Really, seen it there as well. Like, yeah,
it's so popular. I got a phone call on the way up, and I said, I was just talking to someone about work, and then I was saying, I'm actually doing a podcast there in about an hour about Terminator 2. He's like, what? Me and all my friends rented out a cinema there a few weeks ago just to watch Terminator 2.
No way. Yeah. That's class.
So and I put it up that I was doing this, and I got so many messages.
Yeah,
I think it's a childhood film for kids that shouldn't have watched it in their childhood.
100%. When we seen it in the cinema, funny, there was a guy sitting next to me, and I don't know whether he'd seen it before or not, or whether he just loved it so much, but he was. Do you know, you get someone next to you in the cinema and he's just such a good audience member to sit beside, because he was loving every second of everything that happened. And like, even for example, do you know the bit where John Connor says to the Terminator, "Oh, don't be killing people, that's bad crack," like, and then he goes, "No worries." So he goes up to the security guard at the mental hospital and just shoots both of his knees.
I love that. Yeah, that's a bad old doing. He survives though.
It's a bad one. Like, but your man next to me in the cinema was like, like, honestly, like, brilliant. Crying, laughing. I was like, this guy's great. Like, but yeah, unreal. But here, the most worrying part of this is that the opening scene of the film, when Arnie's sent back, or it's not even when Arnie's sent back, you know, when it shows you the future, the battle in the future, that's 4 years away. Like,
I think he did that on purpose though. He knew that it would catch up with itself.
Yeah.
But he thought, like, James Cameron thought, if I put it like, 2100, it's too far away. And obviously he was right, because the AI thing has caught up so quickly. Like,
right,
so
enough, yeah.
That was the thinking behind. And as well, I didn't know that he had like did you ever hear this story? Jim Cameron had like a nightmare, and the Terminator appeared to him, the skeleton, like exoskeleton, and he woke up and he sketched it. You can see the sketch online, and it's exactly the same as what's in the films. Like,
yeah, that actually, I think I actually have seen that sketch. I would be a big fan of the Empire podcast. It's like the whole reason I'm doing this, and I listen to it every week. You know, Empire Magazine, same crowd, like, and two of them are Irish. Like, one of them's from like Banbridge, which is like 20 minutes down the road, and the other one's from Port Stewart. But Helen from Port Stewart was on her honeymoon and went to like some film museum, or was it a James Cameron museum? But it had all his original sketches of like everything he's done over the years. So one of them was the Terminator sketch, and one of the other ones was the sketch of Kate Winslet in the nip.
Oh, right. Did he do that? Oh, that's brilliant.
Did that,
like, he does a lot of stuff in these films, doesn't he? Like, you know, in T2, the scene where Linda Hamilton is getting interviewed, and she's watching it on a screen, and it's real shaky and badly done. He was the cameraman, because he didn't want it to look like a proper cameraman did it, and the zooms are really abrupt, and you like an amateur would have filmed it. So he did it just on his own one weekend with Linda Hamilton before they had to go and film the actual scene. Like,
that's class.
And as well, they were saying that when the T1000 drives off the truck, on the LA River, which has no water as always. Yeah. But he filmed that as well, because none of the cameramen would do it. They thought they'd get killed.
Yeah, I actually heard that. And
so he's a great character. Like,
I was reading today as well that the sorry, I'm pouring a tin here. It's very rude, but
I'll be doing that later. I still have to drive. So.
Right enough. The scene at the LA River when John Connor's being chased. Don't judge my porn skills, by the way. It's a 10. They're meant to be poured shit.
Straight in, it'll be grand. Still have a good head in
it. So the scene at the LA River when the lorry gets the top ripped off it wasn't actually originally in the script. And essentially what happened there was, when they got down to film it, they realised that the lorry wasn't going to fit in.
Seriously? Oh, I didn't know that now.
So James Cameron was like, here, we'll just fucking do a scene where it comes off the top of it. Like, which might explain why, like, because when we were watching this last night, I noticed, like, as soon as that happens, it's clearly a mannequin in the driver's seat getting fucked about the place.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not mad for, like, when they retouch films, but I love... Just the only retouch I want on these old films is when you can see the stunt. It's obviously the stuntman. You know, it's like this guy that doesn't look anything like Arnie lands on the bike. I would be okay with CGI fixing something like that.
Yeah. Sorry, a complete tangent this one. I only found out recently, and it actually broke my brain a wee bit, that the original version of Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt, was just a bloke.
Yeah, I knew that actually. Yeah. And then they changed.
That blew my mind.
But like, George Lucas is like militant about not letting people see the original. Like, there's some guy, he brought some guys to court. Yeah. Because they have the original reel that came out. Yeah. And he doesn't want people seeing it because he likes the new versions of it.
Because I've seen Star Wars 100 times, like, and the bit that always caught me is it's clearly retouched is when Han Solo walks around the back of Jabba and steps over his tail, so he like lifts off the ground a bit and comes back around. It's blatantly fake. So I always thought that was just because he changed it from like a practical Jabba to CGI Jabba, but no, it was just like a fella in like a furry vest. Like, actually ruined my day 2 weeks ago. I was like, what the fuck?
That's kind of like Terminator as well. We're on a tangent now. Here we go. But
I know.
The original Terminator, or not the Predator film.
Oh yeah.
It's like this red ant costume with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like they filmed loads of the film with that.
Yeah.
And then replaced it with the proper one. But yeah. The actors must have been like, this is going to be the worst film ever. Like this big red ant running around the jungle.
Yeah. Just doing fucking roundhouse kicks.
Yeah, exactly. Kicking the crap out of all the stuntmen.
So this is actually a good one for you, right? And you might know this. There's only one actor that's ever been killed on screen by the Terminator, the Predator, and an alien. Do you know who it is?
Oh God. Are they like an extra or? Very
famous actor.
No, go on.
Bill Paxton.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because he's, remember, one of the punks at the start of the first Terminator.
Oh yeah.
And then I can't even remember which Predator he's in. He must be in Predator 2. But then obviously he's in Aliens then.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the only actor that's ever been killed by all three.
He didn't get killed by a Terminator though, did he?
Does he get
he's
killed?
He's Dyson, isn't he?
Hold on. I'm trying to think. It's one of the punks at the start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it started that. Yeah. I didn't know that. No.
So it's when Arnie first comes into the place and some boys are like starting on him and all.
Yeah.
He's just the guy with like the really spiky hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why did you think he was?
I thought Bill Paxton was a different actor. I think.
Yeah. He's Bill Paxton. He seems to be in everything James Cameron does. He was in like True Romance and all as well. He's the guy that's like trying to get off with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay, yeah. He's kind of one of those actors that you can't picture him, but
exactly.
He's in loads of stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
The cast in the Terminator film is unbelievable. Like,
they're
so perfect. Everyone in it, like
the first one, you mean?
The second one for their role, like
in
T2, like with Andrew Furlong and Linda Hamilton.
Yeah,
again, obviously, but Robert Patrick, was this like his breakout role, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's just perfect as a T1000. Like.
Yeah, is he Australian originally or something?
I haven't a clue, like, but he's like the antithesis of Arnie, isn't he? He's like slim, athletic.
Yeah.
He's like the new Terminator. He's it's like the prototype T1000. It's that much better in every way. Like.
Yeah, Aoife said that to me last night again. Never picked up on it. It was exactly what you're just saying. Like any technology, it's smaller and faster.
You know? And just the way he doesn't breathe through his mouth, and he really got in. If you watch the making of thing, he really got into the role and kind of put his own twist on how he thought the T1000 should behave. Like,
doesn't blink when he's shooting the gun. Yeah. And so apparently he had trained. I always said, and I have to say it out loud, my biggest pet peeve about myself, do you ever get when you're listening to yourself back when you're editing stuff, the amount of times I say the word apparently turns me inside, so you can call me out on it every time. But when he was training to run with his mouth closed, apparently he got so good at it that when he was running behind John Connor's wee motorcycle, he was keeping up with him, no bother. There was like no movie magic or anything in that. He's actually just an absolute beast. Like,
yeah, no, he is class. And it's a pity that Andrew Furlong wasn't in the other films, like, because for T3 he was the right age, but then he had personal problems. But he was a great actor. Like,
I think he's a brilliant actor, but I think it was just the way the character was written, and I think it's almost meant to be written this way. I hate John Connor in T2.
Oh, he's a little shit. Like, but that is actually on purpose.
The way
he's supposed to be an annoying. I suppose that's part of his character arc. Like, he's this little shit teenager who's going to become into this like savior, and they're thinking, how is this little shit going to end up being John Connor?
Yeah. But even what really pisses me off is the scene where he's like fighting with Arnie, and he's like, "Hey guys, this guy's, he's grabbing me," and then the two lads come over to help him, and he actually, I wrote it down here, "Take a hike, bozo." I'm like, that is just the antithesis of what older people thought kids talked like in the 90s, like, isn't it? Like,
it is very 90s though, isn't it? The language and like that he uses, but it is a pity he wasn't in more films. Linda Hamilton is unreal in the film though, the way she got so buffed.
Oh yeah,
like, some difference from the first film.
That was one of her conditions for coming back. She said if she was going to be in it, she didn't want to be like the frail screaming woman again. She wanted to be hench. And
really, I would have thought that was James Cameron. That was her idea. She wanted to bring the character there.
Well, every fact I'm hitting you with is IMDb trivia, so could be absolutely bullshit.
Hey, I could be making up my facts.
But so that's what she said. She wanted to be like a soldier essentially, and that's obviously the way they played it, and it is great. Like, for example, the scene when she's breaking out of the mental hospital, the the way she gets the 2 paper clips and
Yeah.
picks a lock. She actually learned to pick locks.
No way.
So do that, and I went into full like real cringy mansplaining mode last night when that was happening, because I watch a YouTube video. I'm fascinated by lock pickers. I think it's really cool, and
Yeah.
I've always wondered how it works. So I watched a YouTube video years ago, and I said to Aoife last night, I'm actually cringing thinking about this. I was, you know, Aoife, in theory, I could actually pick a lock, you know, if I had the right tools. And then I was like, I definitely couldn't pick a lock.
No, it's not like a video game. You just twiddle it around for a while. And
I started explaining to Aoife how, and then she's like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, yeah, fair enough."
Sometimes you need your woman to say that, like, just leave it out.
Just bring me back down to planet Earth.
Yeah,
like
that's it.
Here before a complete tangent here, but I meant to ask you, like, you're super into your gaming as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I played the Terminator game there recently. That's probably why I picked this. Was it Terminator Resistance? It's made by this Polish company, Teon.
Same crowd that made the RoboCop game.
The RoboCop game.
Yeah, I haven't played the Terminator one, but I'm in the middle of the RoboCop one at the moment.
You were saying to me you didn't think you'd like it, but I loved the RoboCop game. I thought it was some crack.
Yeah, it's not that I didn't think I would like it. It's just I was surprised at how much I loved it, if you know what I mean. Because it's so true to the vision of the film, like the ultra violence. Like it's almost as if you can see the put squibs in the video game.
I know,
like,
it's so good, like.
And even just the whole 80s aesthetic of it, they've really, gonna sound like a gimp, they've really captured the heart of what the movie was, you know.
Yeah, totally.
In such a good way. But like it was actually you that put me onto it. I've got a t-shirt upstairs from that company, Dracula Bite.
Yeah.
You have a load of their stuff.
I was gonna wear, this isn't one, but I wear them all the time. Yeah.
I've seen you playing before. I think when you were playing, the last time I seen you was in Lock and Key. The last time I see Crow Black Chicken, and you were wearing, was it like a Metallica one, but it was a Metal Gear Solid or something?
Metal Gear Solid, but with the Metallica font, and it's such a cool t-shirt.
Unreal, yeah. And they're like, the only thing that stops me from buying, I only have like the one at the moment, and it's like a Ghostbusters top, but it's done in the style of like a metal band, and it's like there is no, what do you call the main woman in Ghostbusters again? But it's like, there is no her, there is only Zool. Yeah. But it looks like a metal t-shirt, and it's like one of my favorite t-shirts.
Yeah, no, they're epic, like they really are.
Unreal. But like, are you like a super big, like you're like PS1 kind of era stuff?
Yeah, well, I started on the PS1. That'd probably be my favorite console. But yeah, I'm a big gamer. I was really into like RPGs and stuff growing up, but I don't really have time for them anymore because they're like 100 hours.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of like indie games and shorter games now. So I did that RoboCop game, which is hilarious.
Yeah. And
there actually is a cool scene that I don't know if you got to it, where you're in a DVD rental shop.
No, I haven't got there yet.
The other character does loads of deep Wikipedia references about the guy who made the RoboCop film.
Oh, class.
So that's a cool bit. But yeah, I play lots of games, not as much as I'd like to play, but had a son there 2 years ago, so that affected my gaming time.
That'll take it away from you, alright.
I'm definitely a PlayStation guy. I never really dabbled in PCs or anything like that.
No, I'm the same. I would have I have an Xbox there as well, like, but strictly consoles. Like PCs, like just the thought of like having to upgrade something and then like, oh, I don't know if I can buy this game, it might not run and all that, just kind of was enough to turn me away, like. But
yeah, I got totally burnt out on those any like big AAA games. I bought a bunch of them, like Elden Ring and the new Final Fantasy, and I was like, oh, this isn't even fun, like these are all the same. So now I'm just trying to like find these other kind of not obscure but not these bloated AAA games. I like just playing some other random stuff. Yeah,
that's absolutely fair. Have you any hidden gems you could recommend?
I liked Dredge. Did you play that game?
I don't even start me on Dredge. Like that game,
good or bad?
All my mates got me on the Dredge, and I bought it for the Switch, because it seems like the perfect game to keep in your pocket, like, you know. But I've got this real fear of games when there's something in the water, so I didn't realize it had like such a Lovecraftian twist to it. Yeah. So I had to stop playing it. I got to like the second island or something, and I thought it was class, but it freaked me out too much that I had to put it down.
Really? Because it's not like super scary.
I know it's cartoony, like, but there was a bit. I think it's like the second island, so it's like a load of little islands surrounding like a big hole, and every time I went to like sail past it, this big tentacle came out, and that is. Like that, there's something deep inside me that just freaks out at things like that. So I literally had to like stop playing it.
Okay, I liked
Dredge is great though.
Dredge is good.
I realize I'm the problem in that one. Like
other recommendations. But if you like films, Edith Finch. It's like this story-based game. It's only about 3 hours long.
Yeah, is it called? Have you heard about Edith?
What Remains of Edith
What
Finch.
Remains of Edith
That's
Finch.
very cool. Like a walking simulator.
Oh, cool.
It's just about the story of her family, but
Yeah.
you can't. Forgotten City is like a time loop game.
Yeah.
That's really. But I think the last 2 years, my favorite game was Death Stranding. It was
Oh,
a polarizing game. Some people thought it was like being a postal service guy, but
Yeah.
it's actually class. I loved it.
I've heard mixed reports. Like there's a guy I follow on YouTube called Video Game Donkey. Did you ever follow him?
Oh yeah, he's hilarious. Yeah.
He came out initially and was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then he like reviewed it after 6 months. He's like, "Yeah, this is great." Like, you know, but Hideo Kojima, it's weird. I love the storyline of Metal Gear Solid games. I love watching people play them, but I could never play them because I don't like stealth-based games. So I just remember, like, I've watched one of the lads play every single Metal Gear Solid game, so I know the entire storyline.
Well, you may as well. Metal Gear Solid 4 is just one big long cutscene. It's the same as anyway.
And I remember watching it with him when he finished Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was like an hour and a half cutscene or something. Like, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah,
here?
I wasn't a fan of that one. I just thought, sure, half the game you're watching them frying eggs, like video cutscenes of someone frying an egg,
smoking bent cigarettes and all as well. Like. So
I'm big into the games, and even better if you can play a game that ties into a film as good as that RoboCop game.
Yeah.
So it's anyone liked RoboCop. And the Terminator game they did is like before RoboCop. It's not as polished, but it's really good as well.
I'll check it out then. Game wise, like, I'm getting very similar vibes. Like, I'm just kind of sick of these really long, like, I think they have to kind of maybe stop going so open world, or like every game now has to be open world. What's wrong with a good linear story?
That's
like,
that turns me off. The two things I look is open world. I don't really want to play it. Is it more than 20 hours? No, couldn't be bothered either. Like, I respect my time a bit.
Yeah, fair. Have you played any of the Doom games?
No, and I'm not mad into. I like the RoboCop style first person shooter, but I never really got into the Doom kind of thing.
Yeah, well, like the Doom, they kind of revamped the series in 2016 with it was just called Doom, and then 2020 it was in the heart of lockdown. Doom Eternal came out, and it was class. But they've just released a new one there called Doom Dark Ages, where it's like they're putting the Doom guy like back in time, so he's got like a sword and shield and guns and all.
Okay.
And it is the antithesis of, it's like the guys that designed the game were like, let's just make video games fun again. And it's probably, I don't know what the runtime of the new one is, but the last one was like 20 hours, 25 hours, linear, just violent fun, and it's just banging metal tunes playing the whole way through it.
A few of my students have mentioned the metal in the soundtracks in the games. I've heard some of the tracks; they're absolutely class. Like,
it's unreal. Like, I'd be playing with like the surround sound headphones on. I'll come out and I'll be like having PTSD in the kitchen. Like, it's so good. Like,
actually, you'd probably like that game, Metal Hellsinger. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like a first-person shooter, but it's a rhythm-based game. So you have to press the trigger in time with the metal music.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty cool actually.
Hi-Fi Rush, I think it was called, came out in the Xbox there, and it's like a Bethesda made rhythm-based hack and slash. So you'd be like hitting the enemies like da 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 hey, like, and all, like, you get really into it, like. But here we get back to Terminator here. So the main question is this the best sequel of all time?
Like, can you think of that and that's as good? Because what's the criteria for a good sequel? Are you going to say it's better than the first one? There's loads of films that might fill in there, but then the way it ties in and adds to the lore of the first film, makes it even better.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's hard to argue with it. What other films think have equally good sequels?
People always say Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Now I think out of the Lord of the Rings films, Two Towers is the best one, but I think because it's like a trilogy, it's all part of the one story. It's not as if they went back and gone, okay, how can we write a new one? Like, you know, so I don't think that can really be counted. But there is a few other ones.
I thought Wayne's World 2 it's hard to do a comedy sequel. There's very few comedy sequels where you go, oh, that was actually funnier than the first one.
That's what I meant to bring up to you earlier. Fucking Robert Patrick is in Wayne's World 2 as the T-1000.
Oh yes, yeah.
Do you remember that?
He like answers he's looking for them or something.
They're speeding on the motorway, and he pulls them over, but you don't see his face until he gets right up in the window and goes, "Have you seen this boy?" And then like Mike Myers looks at the camera and goes, "Ah!" and then speeds off.
He was kind of typecast, was it? Like, a lot of them didn't have big careers after the film. Like, is Linda Hamilton in anything?
I can't think of anything else she's in, like,
apart from the sequels. I don't think we'll even bother talking about the sequels. They're absolutely rubbish, nearly all of them.
The third one, I remember going to the cinema to see Rise of the Machines, and I was so excited.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and it sucked. Like,
it was
really
PG
sucked.
Nearly. Like, there's no violence in it.
Was it PG?
It was just about over it. Like, there was one death or something.
That's grim. And then what was the Christian Bale one?
That's Salvation.
It wasn't bad.
That was okay. Yeah. And then you had Genesis. Just forget about that. I didn't even watch it. I turned it off.
I turned it off as well. I seen Dark Fate. It's okay.
That was okay. Yeah. But it's just the same film. Like Linda Hamilton is great in it. Like, and Arnie. I don't know what they were doing. He's like living with some woman in a non-physical relationship, and she doesn't know he's a Terminator.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And then some fucking exposition bullshit about explaining why he's aged and all as well. Like, but Dark Fate was okay. I thought and I think a lot of these movies, a lot of the later ones, kind of rely too heavily on the gimmick of what the Terminator can do. So in Dark Fate, which was pretty cool, but you can't base a whole movie around it, was the Terminator in it could separate its skin from its skeleton.
That was cool, yeah.
So like there's a bit where he like stabs through the window and then just morphs into the window, but the Terminator like skeleton's actually still there with the knife in the window. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, sequels,
I think they should have just gone in the direction with the Christian Bale film, like go into the future. Like the video game is set in the future.
And is it?
It doesn't follow the plot threads of a Terminator film at all. It's just fully in the future war. It's way more interesting.
Yeah, and Salvation had that scene as well, which was one of the first, like, you know, completely CGI character created, where it was like Arnie comes out of the factory. Do you remember that?
And it actually, Salvation is the only one that Arnie isn't properly in it, isn't he? All the other, I think, even though I love Arnie, like, maybe a Terminator film without Arnie. Because like at this stage they need to, and there's no logic to it either. Why did they keep producing? That they keep coming up with reasons. John Connor would like this looking Terminator and all this.
I know, it's just bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
it's just bullshit.
Right, I've got a couple of quiz questions for you here. Right, what date is Judgment Day? Do you know?
Oh, is it 1997?
Yeah, but do you know what date?
Oh, June 26th. I'm gonna guess.
August 29th.
Oh, that wasn't bad. No.
Yeah, not far off at all. Like about 2-3 months there. And this is, I just wrote these sporadically. So in the scene when Arnie, which I actually love this scene as well, when they're at the payphone, when the foster parents are on the phone.
Oh, I know the answer to this. Is it Max and Wolfie, the dogs?
Yeah, that was the question.
That's in the game. They give you a choice to choose like the name of your dog, and you call him Wolfie. So I was like, oh, that's a throwback there.
Yeah. So when he puts on the voice, he's like, "Mom, is Wolfie okay?" And then that was the trick. So then they knew that it was bullshit because the dog's actually called Max.
I had someone had a funny hot take on that. They're like, if the Terminator can imitate anyone's voice, why does he have an Austrian accent going to America?
Right enough, yeah. The most unnecessary thing in the entire film is when the T-1000 goes out to check the name of the dog and kills it. Like,
I forgot about that scene.
Holds up the collar, like,
just to show how much of a bastard he is.
Yeah. So in terms of, that's actually what I meant to say to you earlier. You were saying, did they have much careers after? Robert Patrick, in my head, the only two things I can really think of that he's in is Sopranos. Did you ever watch it?
Yeah, I remember him in that. Yeah.
He was in Sopranos, and he was in that show. Have you watched that show recently, Peacemaker?
I watched a bit of it. Wasn't mad about it, but I thought he was hilarious and just complete asshole of a dad.
Yeah, just Nazi man. But yeah, you're right. I don't think there has been anything too big with the rest of them. Like,
it's the comic book convention thing. Like they'd make a fortune off that anyway, so
100%.
they don't even need to do.
That's pretty much what Edward Furlong's doing for a living.
Really? Yeah.
I think so. Like, cause I always see him in pictures with other people from the cast. Like, you know. But yeah, like, for what was his big other one? It was American History X.
American History X, yeah.
Yeah, and then was he in like an Aerosmith video?
No, but he was in CSI for an entire season as like the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
For a while there, but that was about it. Like,
are you sure he was in an Aerosmith video?
He probably was, yeah.
There's like a video where two young ones like crash a car into a wall. I'm pretty sure it's Edward Furlong. I could be wrong.
I'm sure he did lots of stuff, but then he kind of just disappeared, didn't he?
Yeah, but like you were saying, he had mental health issues or something, or
substance abuse and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, because it seems to be quite similar with all these kind of child actors. Like, if they're not properly, you know, brought into the adult world, then they all end up fucked in the head.
Yeah, even
like,
musicians, like ones that tour when they're really young, can mess them up. I think the only musician or actor that got out alive is Macaulay Culkin. He just like kept all his money. And Frankie Muniz from
Malcolm in the Middle.
They just keep their money they had, and then they're just like, okay, I have enough of this now.
Yeah, right enough. The Harry Potter kids did okay.
Yeah.
Apparently what they've said essentially is that the reason that they're all normal is because they were treated like kids on set. They weren't treated like these superstars, and that probably helped their development. Frankie Muniz is a NASCAR driver for a while.
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, I think, are they doing a reboot of?
Yeah.
Is it out again? I'm not watching it.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it either.
I watched half an episode of the new 70 show and I was like, oh, this is so bad.
I didn't hate it.
Really?
I gave it a good go, and it had its moments. But I watched the first season and it didn't bother with season 2. But I love that 70s show. I think it's one of the greatest. Yeah. Like, but yeah, I'm trying to think. Edward Furlong. That's what I was gonna say. When they were filming this, they hadn't anticipated how much he was going to grow during the filming. So, like, all the desert scenes, that's pretty much the youngest he is. But he actually grew so much during film that in some scenes they had to, like, dig a wee hole for him to stand in.
Really?
So that he wouldn't.
That's mad.
Yeah, so that he wouldn't be taller than, like, Linda Hamilton.
Isn't he supposed to be, like, 11 in the script?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the scene where they go to the arcade and they ask the girls who are his friends. Yeah. And they're obviously 11. Yeah. I was like, why is this? What's going on here?
There was a lot of people that were given out because the first Terminator came out in 1984, and there is a reference to, like, Sarah Connor having the baby in around obviously 1985 or whatever it is. But then this film came out in 1991, so we're like, how the fuck is he meant to be 6 years old? So I think what they actually did then was set the film in 1995. Even though it came out in 91, that was their way of kind of explaining around it. So, yeah, technically he's 11, but, like...
I think that's the least of your worries when you're talking about what makes sense in the Terminator timeline. It's like,
fair enough.
Like, how does the first John Connor get born, you know? Because Kyle Reese comes back from the future. Yeah. And gets with Sarah Connor. But how does it happen the first time? Yeah, so,
right enough. Like, yeah.
I don't know.
The actor that played Kyle Reese in the first one, Michael Biehn, you call him, I could...
He was brilliant. Like, he was really, like, he's kind of like had this kind of PTSD thing going on. Yeah, because he grew up in the future war. He was like this kind of vulnerable kind of fighter. Like.
Yeah, excellent actor. So originally when they were casting for this, they were going to cast him as the T-1000 and bring it back as, like, you know, swapping places kind of thing. Yeah. But right before they started filming, they actually had abandoned the idea because they're like, this is going to confuse the audience is too much. Yeah. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah,
like,
that would have been weird.
Yeah.
For T2, they were going to bring him back. Yeah. And what was Arnie going to do?
He was going to be himself. Oh, yeah. So they're going to bring him back as the T-1000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, Arnie was going to be the good guy, and Kyle Reese would have been the bad guy.
I wouldn't have hated that, but I don't think he would have been as good as Robert Patrick.
No, definitely not. Robert Patrick literally killed it. Like,
and in the sequels as well, the people that play the Terminators just don't do it as well. Like, as Robert, even though they have some cool new technology going on, but it just doesn't work. Like.
That's what I'm saying. Just relies too much on the quirk of what they can do. Do you ever hear that band? What do you call that? Robert Patrick's brother is the lead singer of a famous band, and I forget who it is. Is it Filter, you call them, or is the song called Filter?
I've heard of Filter, yeah. They're like a rock band from the 90s.
Yeah, that's Robert Patrick's brother.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, great, obviously. Like, I could say you could spend near the most of the podcast just talking about how good he is in the film. Like,
it's just that's what stands out when you rewatch it. And I like the pacing of the film as well. Like, like I said, it doesn't waste your time. It's 2 hours, and it's a lot, mainly action. But it's I really like the desert scene because you kind of get a reader, don't you? And Linda Hamilton is carving no fate into the table. Yeah. And Arnie's having like the father-son moment fixing the car. Like.
Yeah, Edward Furlong himself grew up without a dad. Okay. And when he was on set with Arnie, they like really bonded because Arnie had to be both a father figure in the film, and then that just kind of automatically translated to offset. And Linda Hamilton was apparently like sick of listening to him because Arnie was on set telling Edward Furlong how to get women and all. And Linda Hamilton was quoted in saying, they were best mates because Arnie is mentally 11 years old. Like,
he's hilarious. There's lots of funny stories about Arnie. They were saying it, do you know, when they were doing the bar scene in the first one where T800 is naked. Yeah. Like a person walked in off the street into the bar, and Arnie's like, she's like, what's going on? He's like, male stripper night.
Yeah. And that's why, if you remember at the start of Rise of the Machines, when Arnie walks into the bar there, it is a male stripper night he walks into.
Oh, is that it?
And because do you remember they kind of recreate the glasses thing, but the glasses they put on, they're like pink star, like Elton John looking glasses.
Yeah,
like,
the sequels just have no new ideas. It's like, we'll just do these cheap gags.
Look at this throwback. Like, it's just all fan service, like, isn't it? But yeah, I had it in the notes here about Linda Hamilton's twin, which actually blew my mind. Leslie Hamilton. That's what I was never picked up on that. Like,
yeah. And how did they get all? It was just did they obviously didn't know she had a twin when they did the first film. They were just like, for the second one, probably, hey, this will be handy for some shots.
Right enough.
If she did it today, like, you know the way when they do these Marvel films and they're always asking the women stupid questions. How did you get so ripped? Or what was your routine like?
Yeah. What's it like having a baby?
If it came out these days, it'd be like, how did you get the arms for the film or something? She must have worked out a lot. Like,
she's like, no, see, it was fucking chin ups I was doing on the edge of the bed. Like,
that was crazy. Like,
do you ever see a film called Hunt for the Wilder People?
No.
So it's a Taika Waititi film starring Sam Neill. Unbelievable film. It's like a kind of comedy.
Yeah.
It's essentially, I'll not get into the plot of it, but there's a really good bit where like there's a kid being chased by the cops, and he's across like a ravine, and the woman cop is like shouting at him. She's like, they're all Kiwi. She's like, I'm gonna get you and all this, like, and then he's like, what does he say? She's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm the Terminator. You're Sarah Connor, and Sarah Connor from the first Terminator before she got biceps from doing all those chin ups. Like, I just thought it was such a good line.
That's
like,
brilliant.
But yeah, so the nuclear blast in that one, to make it as realistic as possible, the special effects team, you know, the playground scene I'm on about, had spent like months and months and months researching like the effects of a nuclear blast, how it would actually look and all. So it was actually a miniature set they built, and is mainly built out of crackers and shredded wheat.
Really?
To get
That's
that
why
effect.
It melted so much.
But the problem was initially that for, you know, when she's up against the fence, they actually nuked Linda Hamilton and killed her. That's why she's not in the rest. I'm sorry, it was a shit joke. But yeah, so
you had me going here. Like, where is he going?
But yeah, so I think that's in terms of that's actually a great one. The scene at the end when, you know, the freeze T-1000 and when he's walking is like he's turning to ice and like collapsing down.
Yeah.
They used an amputee to film that. So yeah, it was like a fella, and they obviously like put on like probably more shredded weight on his leg or something. So when he stepped, he'd fall over.
So they're using doubles again, you know, just to make. I love the scene where Arnie reveals his arm. You know, and
to the Dyson family.
Yeah. And it's like a real animatronic hand.
Yeah.
And he pulls off the fake skin and everything. Like, that just looks class.
Unreal. The guy Dyson, what's his first name? Miles Dyson in this. Like, I always thought he was a great actor.
Nothing to do with the Hoover Company, right?
No, yeah.
He is really good in it. He's a brilliant actor.
Yeah, like, is he in anything else? I think
he actually died like not long after the film or something.
Fuck.
Yeah. As far as I'm not 100% in that now, but yeah, he is class in it. Like.
His performance always stuck out in my head. Like, you know when he's holding the explosives that are about
and the
like,
breathing.
He's like you know, I've never seen like. That's probably a more accurate representation about someone that knows they're going to die.
Or even when he gets shot, it's not like he doesn't go flying back. He just like takes a few shots in the gut and just yeah, he's brilliant.
Unreal. Like.
And that's a class scene because Sarah Connor like becomes the Terminator for a while.
Yeah.
And then his son jumps on her and she realizes, oh crap.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like.
Yeah, right enough. Like, yeah. But in terms of like fun facts and stuff, I was just gonna say
there's a lot of stuff. See, it's one of those old, I think it's before the CGI thing. These old films, there's so many fun facts, like mad stuff they did, like
so good. Like, but practical effects, I think, are kind of making a bit of a comeback because, especially with the likes of Nolan and stuff, no one really wants to see all these CGI things. And I think, on what you were saying earlier, I think superhero movies is the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, because the third act in nearly every superhero film now is just a CGI fuckfest. Like, and
it's just like you just get bored, like, oh, whatever
shit. Like, are you a fan of John Carpenter's The Thing?
I am. That was one of my could have been one of my films.
Really, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, the practical effects in that are nuts. Insane, like, they look so crazy.
Because like one of my favorite shots in it is when he's using the defibrillator on your man, and then he goes to put it in, and then your boy's stomach opens up and turns into a mouth. Like,
but the funny I remember watching that as a kid, like, and it's so violent.
Yeah,
I love the scene where like your man's head starts stretching and it just snaps, and this little creature
turns
starts
into the
running
spider.
around. I'd love to show that to like, you know, a kid now, not a kid, but like a teenager, and say, oh, watch this film, it doesn't have any CGI. Would they think it was cool, or do like, oh, this looks stupid? Like,
I think it would need to be appreciated, because one thing, I was very late to the thing. I only watched for the first time a few years ago, and one thing I really took away from it is the practical effects creates a sense of disgusting grossness that CGI will never achieve, I don't think. Like the way that you can physically see like the guts and the ooze and all, like like that's something I don't think will ever be represented by a computer. Like
yeah, like it couldn't happen in real life, but so then when you see all this over the top violence, it seems more visceral in some way when it's the real effects. And at the end of the film, who do you think survived? Was Kurt Russell the thing, or was it the other guy?
Well, there's the theory about the petrol. Have you read that one?
No.
So I think it's Keith David. Like Kurt Russell passes him a bottle of like whiskey or whatever, and Keith David takes a sip of it, and then they both start laughing. So apparently the reason that they're laughing is because that wasn't a bottle of whiskey; it was a bottle of petrol. And Keith David's character drunk it and wasn't affected by it, so he must have been the thing, and that's why Kurt Russell starts laughing. But
how did they come to that conclusion? Like that it was petrol, like
because he was making the Molotov cocktails.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty sure John Carpenter's come out and said that's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong on that one. But
I definitely file under films that don't need sequels. The sequel to that was rubbish.
It was a prequel though, was it?
Yeah, and the sequel to The Matrix was rubbish. Like and T2 had he actually only changed the ending the weekend before it went out to all the cinemas.
Yeah.
It had this like really happy ending where Linda Hamilton's playing with her grandchild and John became a senator.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's a really shit ending. Like.
And
now in the finished film, it's kind of a bit ambiguous.
Yeah. But do you think also a bit of that was like money for sequels, maybe?
Yeah, well, if they kept the crap ending and didn't make any sequels, I'd be okay.
Yeah. I'm actually just looking at my notes here. I'm terrible. I write these out just as a safety blanket. Sometimes I really catch myself being like, but I just have it in my notes here. I hate John Connor's stupid wee ginger fucking friend. And then
I actually love that kid. I think he's hilarious.
I went back and wrote John too, actually. But yeah, he actually is. He's funny, but it was just the whole. It is just that whole 90s, like, come on, man, like that.
In fairness, I actually hate the kid who's a complete narc. You know that when T1000 goes to the arcade, and he says to John's friend, "Have you seen this kid?"
Yeah,
and John's friend's like, "No." And then this other kid straight away is like, "Yeah, he's over there."
Yeah, 100%. I always thought that the wee ginger kid was the same actor. Have you ever seen Big?
Big, yeah. Oh yeah, he's like the friend. Yeah,
not the same actor at all. No. I always thought they were the same person. Like
Big is very
ginger mullets.
It's a strange film when if you get into the bit where he has a girlfriend and all.
100%. Like it's that whole. Have you ever heard the phenomenon "born sexy yesterday"?
No.
I don't think it's an actual phrase, but I watch a video essay on YouTube about it, and it's essentially about how a lot of these older films have this phenomenon, which this guy coined "born sexy yesterday," where it's like a hot woman with a child of an infant, but the main character guy's still interested in getting with her. So, for example, The Fifth Element. Yeah. Like, have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, class film.
What do you call her? Milu or Lilu or?
Lulu, yeah. Lilu, yeah.
Yeah, so like, for example, she's like a child in the head, but Bruce Willis is still trying to buck her. Like,
yeah, that is true, yeah.
So that's like a perfect example of it. Like, he is a child in the mind, but he's still bucking some girl. That is messed up. Thing. Like,
it's very weird, but that is is that like a French director as well? Because when
Fifth Element,
when they do sci-fi films, they're so mental, like and in a brilliant way, like Total Recall or any of those kind of films, they just look so different. Like,
what do you call the Total Recall guy again? I always forget his name.
I can't remember. I'm blanking on it, but that's Verhoeven, isn't it?
Oh, so, Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, so that's Stormtroopers, RoboCop, and Total Recall.
It's like an unofficial trilogy or something.
Yeah, and then he did a flop film, and he kind of just gave up with Hollywood then.
Fair, but Luc Besson, I think you call the guy that did Fifth Element, and he also did pretty sure it's him that did Leon the Professional.
Yeah, great film.
There is a whole through line of a lot of his films, and then like it came out then that he married a 15 or 14-year-old, the director. Like, so yeah, if there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dodgy, but the film was good anyway.
Yeah, sorry. What I was going to say as well, back to T2, the Guns N' Roses song, the tie-in song. Firstly, you don't really get good tie-in songs these days as well. Maybe Barbie was the last example I can think of. But that Guns N' Roses tune, You Could Be Mine, is like a vocal tick for me. See, when that song gets stuck in my head, and it ruins my day. I literally be walking around the house. Eva's like, shut the fuck up. So I'm walking around going, like that.
What about the scene where Arnie has Guns N' Roses? He has like...
Oh my God, I never picked up on that. Like,
he has the shotgun in the Roses box.
I never picked up on that. That's unbelievable. Like,
and which is actually a class scene because you see that's before you know that he's the good guy.
Yeah.
And he pulls the shotgun.
Yeah.
And you think the T-1000 is coming to save John Connor, and he just shoots past him and hits him.
100%. Very similar to that, which is one of my favorite scenes in the film, is in the mental hospital when Sarah Connors escapes and she's waiting for the lift, and you can hear the lift down the hallway opening, and then in slow motion Arnie just walks out and she like starts like scrambling back.
Yeah, that is brilliant.
Something so good about that. It's just like the fear and dread in her is just like accomplished so well on film or something, like, you know.
And the doctor's face, the psychologist from the first film, who's in the second film, he's an absolute asshole.
Wanker.
And his face when the Terminators are real.
Yeah.
I don't know, is he in any of the sequels? He should be anyway.
Yeah.
Talking about, he should be like this crazy like guy that believes in everything that's happening. Like,
yeah, so I think the moment where he clicks which is another great scene, and was, I think, really lauded in the day for one of the best special effects scenes, is when T-1000 just walks through the bars.
Yeah, that's class.
Your man, the psychologist, has a cigarette in his mouth. He just goes, just drops the fag. Like.
And like, not one of the main actors in it, but he is brilliant. Like, you really hate him. He's such an asshole to Linda Hamilton's character.
Oh yeah, like he's like, oh, I'm afraid you're going to have to sign you up for another 6 months, and then that's when she loses the head again.
And in the first film, he's looking at Kyle Reese's video. He's like, I could make a career out of this guy. This is gold.
I love the bit in this one when he's taking all the students around and he goes up to the window.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, oh, hey Sarah, and she's like, how's the knee?
Oh yeah.
Fuck's sake.
I love when the weird warden like licks her face, but she gets revenge on him then, like,
unbelievable.
With the stick. Is like, oh yes.
Yeah, it's such a satisfying moment. Not even just the lick, when he first goes in to make her take her medication. And he just kicks the clean fuck out of her.
Yeah,
to the point where I don't know why we both had the same reaction last night, but because we've both seen the movie so many times, when he hoofs her and she like lifts off the ground and goes into the wall, both me and Aoife last night went, Jesus, like, it's so unnecessary. But yeah, unbelievable. To be honest, I think I've talked about everything I need to here. But I'll always finish the podcast in the same way. So if you were to come back on again, maybe next Blues. And I think you've already answered this question off mic, but what film would you talk about other than T2?
Jeez, well, it'll change, but in a year's time, like maybe. Well, if you haven't done you've done one Paul Verhoeven film.
Just RoboCop, yeah.
I like Total Recall a lot, like. But,
okay. That's like a good combo of Arnie and.
It's hard to pick. Interstellar would be probably my favorite film, but having a chat about it, then I don't know. It's a different kind of film, isn't it? It's not as much crack as T2, like. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I will never tell someone what to choose, like, you know, because I have had episodes of this where it hasn't been like making jokes and stuff. It's just been seriously kind of talking about it. So, personal preference.
I'll see. I find it more interesting when you're deep diving on older films because of the effects and the budgets. We're scrambling for the budgets. There's way more kind of lore to them, isn't there? Like, than a modern film. But no, leave it with me. I would definitely come back on and pick a good one. I want to pick something that I can, watch loads of stuff about.
Yeah,
deep dive. Like,
well, here, to be fair, Terminator 2 is the ultimate choice. It is one of the greatest films ever made. Like, so, and even anyone I've told about us recording this have gone, oh, Terminator, unbelievable. Like, you know. So next question then, you have your own podcast. Do you still kind of run it?
I might bring it back. I went a bit mad on it. I did too many episodes and I got burnt out. Like,
fair. Yeah.
But I brought out an episode a week for about 4 months there at one stage. And I was like, what the hell am I thinking?
Fair play to you. Like,
so no, I'll bring it back, but in like a limited kind of. You do seasons, don't you?
Yeah.
I'll do it like that. I'll go, season 2 is here, and then you can
take a break. Like.
Take stock. Yeah, I'll definitely do. And as well, kind of when I started mine, there was no base podcasts, so it was fun, like interviewing random people that had never been on a podcast. But now everyone and their aunt has a podcast. So it's like, do I really want to have the 15th chat with this bass player about bass? So I'm kind of trying to find some new guests that don't do podcasts. So that's.
If you ever want to do a shit bassist.
Like, no matter. Yeah. So you're on the list. Yeah, people that haven't done a bass. So that's what I'm trying to think of, because there's some bass players like Paul Bushnell, the first guy I had, actually the first episode, who's played with Chris Cornell, Elton John.
No way.
Everyone. He's from Ireland, like, and no one's heard of him. Yeah. And so he was a great guest because it was the first time he did a podcast. Yeah. So you're just talking to this guy for 3 hours and no one else has done it with him. So that's what I don't care about getting people as much that are big names. Yeah. You're a big name, Paul. If you said in my house.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so if anyone wants to check out Stephen's podcast, it's called Basecraft, isn't it?
Yeah, Stephen McGrath's Basecraft. Yeah.
Yeah. So if other than your own podcast, obviously, like, what podcast would you recommend for me to listen to? Like, what do you listen to yourself?
Oh, I like that. Remember the Game. It's like a retro game podcast.
Oh fuck, I haven't heard of it.
He's Adam. What's his name? Adam Blank's his name. He's a comedian from Canada.
Okay.
And he curses a lot, and he's kind of angry, giving out like.
Okay.
I generally wouldn't listen if I hadn't played the game myself, but.
And like he does retro games.
Yeah, it's all retro game.
There was a guy I used to watch on YouTube years ago, called the Angry Nintendo Nerd.
Yeah, he's deadly.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, he's still going.
He had to change his name to the Angry Video Game Nerd. Then, like, I used to love his videos.
Yes, I like that one. So, and sure, it's like everyone. I like. That's one you wouldn't have heard of. I Remember the Game is a fun podcast.
Okay, I'll check that out then. Here, Stephen, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man. And sure, are you coming into the gig tonight, Jeff?
I am indeed, yes. Yeah. I'll have a torture later. I'll have much more paints in me.
You'll be like a different person. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. It's like,
I'll be like, I forgot to tell you about
Oh, God.
Yeah, but here, that's us good to go. Again, thanks for coming on.
Cheers,
Absolute
man.
legend.
Thanks very much.